Good morning, guys. Welcome back to the farm. Thank you for joining us today. We got a good one. We're gonna go ahead, we're gonna move our pigs to the next pasture. If you guys have not seen our channel, have not seen our pigs, let's just say our pasture is a little worn out. So it is long overdue. We're gonna get them into fresh land here. They got a lot of work to do for us. It is overgrown, but I'm really excited to see what they're gonna do for us. But first and foremost, before we get into it, I just want to extend a huge thank you from our farm. We just recently, actually this morning, hit 1,000 subscribers. Guys, I can't even believe that. It is 6 months into this journey since we've been here on YouTube, showing you kind of what we do out here. And I just want to say thank you. I never thought we'd get to this point, let alone that quickly. So again, guys, thank you so much for your support. Thank you for following along. We really appreciate it. All right, so let's get into it a little bit. Before we move any animals here, we always want to make sure we're checking our infrastructure, checking your fences, making sure they are secure, making sure your animals are going to be safe. Now, pigs don't really have a huge predator threat, but we got to make sure they don't get out. From our experience, we pretty much are going to use electric from here on out using pigs. It may not be the case for everybody, but whenever we don't have electric, they're gone. They're getting out. They get under that woven wire. Might not be right away, but they're gonna get under it. So we do have a woven wire pasture set up. It actually butts right up against the pasture we're using now. What I'm going to go ahead and do today, I'm gonna run a little bit of a different setup. So our existing pasture, we actually started with a woven wire setup, and that worked really well for us. It worked well for a long time until the pigs put on some size, until they got a little bigger, a little more curious on what's kind of in the outside world. Once they root up that area inside the pasture, they're going to get bored. They're gonna try to test their limits. They're gonna try to find ways out. And if they're, guys, let me tell you, if there's a hole literally this big, they're gonna get under it. They're gonna lift that fence up. It's amazing how strong these animals are, and they're gonna find their way out. So once we had a couple breakouts, we went ahead, we got some electrified poly wire. We put it in there in a single strand, pretty low to the ground. It's important that you have it pretty low so they're not getting in under that fence, or in, if you have piglets, even under the poly wire. And that worked well for a while until they started breaking off our fence posts. So for a while, we're using these plastic fence posts, and these actually, they work really well. We've used these here now for a while. The problem is when the weather gets colder, these become brittle. I mean, they've sitting out in the sun for quite some time. So eventually, as the pigs kind of put pressure on them, they rub up against them, they're gonna snap off and down goes your wire. So fast forward to today, when we set up our new pasture, we're actually going to go ahead and mount some insulators to the T-post. So what I have here, guys, I do have a couple different types of insulators. Being that our pasture is butted up on the side of our current pasture, some of our T-posts are actually gonna be facing the wrong direction. Right here, they actually make a reverse style insulator. So it's going to mount on and kind of stick backwards into the next pasture for us. Same setup, your poly wire is going to run right through these slots. They kind of go opposite, that way it holds it and secures it in place. We have our 2-inch regular insulator for most of the posts. I mean, that's how most of the posts are gonna be laid out, where that's gonna fit in there. And then I also went ahead and got some of these black screw-in insulators for the corners. All of our corners are wood, so I'm gonna drive these right in. It's gonna be a nice strong corner, and it's also gonna allow me to put some tension on as we run it around the perimeter of our fencing. I also have our poly wire here, and full disclosure, guys, this stuff is definitely cheaper on Amazon. I actually have a roll coming today, but being that we had to get this done, went ahead and got some at Tractor Supply. I will put links in for all this stuff from Tractor. I'll also put the Amazon link in for this poly wire. You can get almost twice the length for literally half the price on Amazon. So just want to be transparent there. Definitely go ahead, shop through Amazon if you're going to get this stuff, but it works great for us. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to run this today. Anytime you're using this, got to have your pliers with you. It just makes your life so much easier. And I actually have a reel for this as well. I don't know where it is. So we're going to go ahead right now. We're going to put the insulators up, then we're going to run the wire, and finally we're gonna move the pigs. Sounds easy. Let's see if that's the case. And I almost forgot, we gotta move the shelter. So let's take care of that first. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna get the tractor in here, to lift this shelter out of here. Normally the plan would be use some feed, get your pigs down in the pasture. Well, they're a little too curious right now. Finally, they're starting to walk away. Let's see if I can get this gate open. I'll man the gate, he'll man the tractor. One thing we have noticed, they are afraid of the tractor. So once we get in here, should be all right. I'll shut it back up and then we'll be good to go. So what we did, we actually used a board across the front of the forks to catch the sides of the shelter. That way we're able to actually lift this thing up. Good. As if I'm really doing a whole heck of a lot with one hand. I guess really just preventing it from sliding at this point. If we can get turned around, we'll be pretty good. That board in there is really bending. Hopefully we make it. We only have to go a couple of yards down to the end of this fence line. I sure hope it fits. We're going into our man gate rather than having to drive all the way around and go in the big gate. We're gonna go in the man gate, so hopefully it fits. Otherwise, we're gonna be out here a while moving at this speed. Here goes nothing, guys. So there's a lesson for everybody. Make shelters that are gonna fit, make shelters that are portable and not so stinking heavy. All right, guys, we're gonna start working on the fence now. We got our first insulator on. This is the reverse style that I showed you in the beginning. You can see the T-post is facing the other direction because our pasture that the pigs are in right now is actually on that side of the fence. So these are gonna stick out a little bit. They are 5 inches. It's gonna give you a lot of clearance, but that is gonna help us. It's gonna work well. That way your wire's not pushing back against the metal because that's gonna cause it to ground out. The other ones, they're gonna be a little smaller. They're gonna be your 2-inch insulators. That's the normal facing ones, and I'll show you them when we get around. So if you've never seen these, they just kind of wrap around. See if I can get in here. They just kind of wrap around the post here. They are tight fitting, so you kind of have to force it on there a little bit, but that is the design to get them to hold. And then basically what you're going to do, you're just going to kind of pull it back and snap it into place just like that. And it's going to set on the notches of your T-post. That'll kind of set the height. So you want to find kind of where you're at. If obviously this T-post is reversed, so you kind of have to feel for it. But that is the height we're going to go at. And there you go. A little bit of wiggle. That's all right. Okay, we got the first run done. Definitely takes a little bit of getting used to when you're snapping these things on, but we were able to get it done pretty quickly. You can see I did keep it low. Now, realistically, I probably didn't need to go every post. However, we have them, so I figure might as well put them in place. Now we're at the corner of our fence. This is actually where our gate meets. We're not gonna really need to use this gate very often. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna use one of these black, they look kind of like an eye hook, and it is an insulator. So we got our drill with us. We're gonna pre-drill, we're gonna screw this thing in, and this is going to allow us to pull some tension on our wire as we're kind of fishing it around the perimeter of our pasture here. I'm gonna really pull tight around these things, and it's gonna kind of hold everything in place for us. Again, we're gonna go nice and low, just like we were doing. Pre-drill, that's just gonna make it a whole lot easier And essentially just kind of twist it on there. There we go. Perfect. There you have it. Now we do have a pretty long run from this corner post to our first T-post over here. We also have some weeds coming up, but I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to put another one of these black insulators into the wood posts here. That way we can at least keep the wire off the ground, keep it tight, and then we'll start with the T-post. All right, so we got insulators all the way around the perimeter of the pasture. I'm just doing a little cleanup work now, making sure we have a nice clean line to run this poly wire. Meanwhile, the supervisor is over here, keeping an eye on the animals, enjoying a snack there on the log. Just loving being out here. You can throw it in the bucket, that's okay. Thank you. Good job.
I'm gonna help now.
Okay, we're ready for some poly. So I am going to anchor it right here into our insulator that's driven into the post. That's going to allow me to pull it nice and tight, make sure that this is good and tight, and it'll be a good anchor point for us. So let's go ahead and do it. You want to pull this down?
Yeah.
All right. Hopefully we can get a good charge on it. Keep it in there, right? Got it? Little one's down there working away. She loves to be out here. So we have a lot of fun. The weather has been awesome this weekend for beginning of February, mid 40s, sunny. So nice to finally get out. I feel like we've been cooped up most of the winter. Not with snow, not with cold, but mostly rain. What you working on?
I'm bending our pricks.
You're bending over the pricks?
Yeah.
Just be careful, there's sticker bushes.
My daddy's rolling up the fence.
All right, we got the wire all up. It's time to put some power on. Moment of truth.
Perfect timing.
All right, this is not where I'm gonna actually put it, but I wanna make sure that it works first.
Is it a stick? Is it a stick?
That's what you call a grounding rod.
What?
Ooh, ooh, that'll get you.
Good
All right.
test.
Huh?
Good test.
Okay guys, we got everything set up here. You can see I still have the wire on the spool. Temporary setup here with our energizer and our ground. This is not where it's gonna be, right in the middle of the fence here. I wanted to just make sure the fence would power. We're reading 3,900 on our tester here. So, yo, muddy, good throw. Again, you gotta remember the use case here. It's really just to keep the pigs away from the base of the wire. It's really to keep them from pushing at it, from trying to get under it. And that type of power is definitely it's gonna be plenty to do that. So we're gonna go ahead here, we're gonna disconnect. I have it on the spool because I gotta get the animals in this gate where you're standing right now. So they're gonna get in here. I'm gonna roll out the rest. I'm gonna tie it off here. I'm actually gonna run 2 wires across the opening here. And the reason for that, the man gate is definitely your weakest part of your fence system. So you gotta make sure that they're not gonna go under, they're not gonna go over, because the little ones, they could go right out through that man gate. So just a little bit of extra security we're gonna put in there. Well, here goes nothing. Let's see if they respect the wire. Come on, pig. Come on, pig. So far, so good. We're about a quarter of the way. I feel like I'm announcing a race. Come on, pig, here, pig. Here, pig, here, pig. As long as I don't freak them out, I think we're gonna be okay here. We got one of the piglets on the inside though. That will be a problem. Come on, pig, come on, pig. Come on, Zig. Here, Zig, here, Zig. This is gonna be the hard part. Well, that plan was going well until right at the very end, Ziggy freaked out, kept going forward, and then they all went through the line. So here we are at the top of the pasture. Not supposed to be here. They're loving it, but yeah, I really don't want them here. Come on. Well, that did not go as planned. It turned out to be a really long day here, but we finally got them in. Got the electric up now. You can see here. There's actually 2 here on the other side that I gotta grab yet. But Ziggy and Betsy are over here with 5 of the piglets. Man, that was a lot harder than it needed to be. We ended up running 3 strands of poly. We put some pig netting behind it as a deterrent, and we created this little lane here. You can see the pigs. I mean, they went crazy in here on this fresh grass. This is what I did before on what try was that? Take 2, take 3, I don't even know at this point. The pigs got all the way down to the gate for whatever reason. They did not want to go in and they freaked out. They went through the wire. And what I didn't get on camera is my in-laws, my mom and dad, we're all over here up in the main pasture here, chasing pigs pretty much all afternoon. So finally we decided, okay, let's electrify this thing. Let's just let them out. So we let them out. We closed the gate behind them, and sure enough, give it some time and they finally made their way in. For whatever reason, they were terrified of this gate when it was open. I don't know why. Now you may be wondering, our pasture setup is not ideal. You may be wondering why we don't have a gate cut in the middle. That way there's no way of them getting out. You just open your gate and they move on. Well, this was built long before this one. Originally we put sheep over here and this was nothing. This was just all thick woods. So it was an afterthought and it was definitely a mistake. So when you guys are planning your pastures, definitely, I say this all the time, just put more gates than you think you're gonna need. Definitely give yourself access points, give yourself points to move your animals back and forth, because this was a nightmare. But anyway, guys, they rooted up a little lane here, no big deal. They are where we want them to be, and I'm just gonna go give them some water now. Gonna turn the electric on, and I think they're gonna be happy as can be in here. This is thick. They're gonna have a good time just rooting everything up, cleaning this area out, and we'll definitely keep you guys updated. So it's definitely been a long day here on the farm. We're gonna go inside now. I'm exhausted and I don't even wanna think about pork. I don't even wanna think about pigs. So we're gonna eat some beef for dinner. But anyway, if you like what we're doing, guys, give us a thumbs up, like this video, hit that subscribe button to help this channel out. As always, drop some questions, comments below. We'll be sure to get back to you. I'm gonna drop a few links below, check them out. Things we use on the farm every day. The poly wire literally saved our bacon today, so check that one out. And as always, guys, have a great night. Thank you for watching.